I'm Jishan Singh, Assistant Professor in IT/ICT Department of NC Institute of Engineering and Technology. So in this video of Node.js, we will learn the CRUD operation. So how can we perform CRUD operation using Node.js with your MongoDB database? So in the previous video of this particular database series, I explained what is the basic requirement, what is MongoDB, why it is useful, okay, what are the basic steps we require to perform our practical session. Okay, so just move ahead. So yeah, you have to remember about before any CRUD operation, you are using here Node.js as a runtime environment, Express.js as a web framework. We are using MongoDB as a database, that is following the NoSQL structure, and we are using here REST APIs for user request and response, where we will use get post, okay, for sending and fetching the request. Then put we are using for updating, so put or fetch will be used, and delete. Before going to the practical portion, you must install your Express.js, okay, you have to install MongoDB, and you have to install Mongoose. Okay, so let's move to the practical session. So after installing all three steps, you are getting this dependency in your package.json file. Okay, so you can see your dependency Express is already installed, MongoDB is installed, and Mongoose is installed. Okay. Before implementing any code, you must require in your package.json file, otherwise your code is not working. Okay, so I hope you will install perfectly. If you're finding any issues, you can contact me. Okay, so I'm closing my package.json file. Okay, so okay, before going to the code, I will explain the whole structure of this particular CRUD application. So here we are creating basic application which follows your MVC architecture. Okay, so it creates a very proper channel of your user request and response. Why? Because basically till now we are just implementing basic applications, but if you remember, we already perform one task using application generator. If you go through that particular session, you find that, okay, your model portion is separate portion, your public folder is on another portion. If you are using pub, then it will be on the other portion. Okay, so your view portion, then controlling portion, okay, and model portions all are separated. So here we are trying to do that, okay, manually. We are not using any express generator. Okay, so first we are creating our normal app.js file, in which we are including all the basic structure which required Express, which required our Mongoose, which required MongoDB. Okay, we are importing that package. After that, we are creating a proper channel to redirect our path. We are creating routes here. Okay, so we know already in the previous video that how can we create routes. Okay, when we are calling our get method, we are carrying get method with some specific path. At that time, if you want to redirect to a specific route, then how can we do that? That will be a second portion. And third portion is view. Okay, so here we are creating view for our JSON file. Okay, so we are not performing like that, create new table name like this. We are not performing here RDBMS structure. So in our particular practical session, we are creating one proper JSON file in our programming portion that tells particular MongoDB that we are creating this schema. Okay, we are creating proper schema for our database connectivity, and then we are connecting all these three modules and performing our task. Okay, so let's start our practical portion. Okay, so first is our app.js file. Okay, I will explain. First, you have to import your Express. Yes, it's a simple Express, require Express. After that, const Mongoose. Yeah, you have to require, after installing, we have to import that package. And third, of course, we have to use const app is equal to Express. So this is the basic three things we require. After that, what we require? Okay. So for connecting database, the basic step is we have to create mongoose.connect. Okay, the connect method is used for connecting your particular program with your mongoose. Okay, so for that mongoose.connect, first parameter is URL. Okay, second and third parameter. Okay, in the second parameter you can see there are some optional fields, that is use unified topology, use new user parser. If you are not writing here, what happens when you are running your code, some deprecation error, then user parser error, that type of warnings are generated. Okay, without that you can run your code, but warnings are generated in your console. So for remove that, we are writing here these two attributes, that is for unified topology and for new user parser true here. Okay, now so for creating connection with your database, you have to use first step mongoose.connect, and the mandatory portion is URL. Okay, now next we have to create one connection. Okay, so first we are connecting with your database, but after that we are creating a database, okay, for connection. Okay, forgot to give you what is URL here. Okay, so here we are writing URL as a variable. So in the variable I'm writing MongoDB colon localhost / mydb. Okay, so here mydb is my database name. Okay, so it may be available at locally, or it is available at the server side. Okay, so here locally available, that's why we are writing localhost, and we are writing the particular URL to connect with the particular our MongoDB, that is MongoDB colon /. So you can write the URL in the variable, or you can write this directly here, both are valid. Okay, so second step is all about the creating connection. So here connection variable is created, that variable is used in the future part to communicate all the operations. So that's why we have created mongoose.connection, and that will be available with your con object. Now we can perform several options. We can open the data, we can create the database, we can open, then we can close the database. Okay, for that we have a connection object. For that on method is available, on.on, and we are using here open. Okay, and one function is available that just telling us that connection is successfully established for our understanding. And the mandatory thing, yeah, we have to open our particular port number for web application, that we are aware about that app.listen 3000, that is our port, and this is my callback function that just write that console.log server connected. So I'm not explaining right now any other portion. Okay, so that is used for root, that is used for our JSON. Okay, that will be a second portion. Okay, so this is the basic step. What are the steps we require? Just we have to import the basic stuff. After that we have to use two methods. One method connect method that uses URL bar, then connection portion, and then we have to use this on method with open stuff. And just we have to use app.listen 3000. So this is the basic steps I am required to connect my database. Okay, now we are moving to the second portion, that is I want to create a schema. Okay, that is my view of the schema. For that I'm creating one directory. Okay, you can see I'm creating one directory name is models. Okay, so in models I'm creating one JavaScript file, that is users.js file. Okay, so that users.js file we are putting separated here. Okay, so that just give us a schema definition of your database, so in the JSON format. So let's understand how can we use it. So yes, we want to create our particular schema. Before that we have to require mongoose first. Okay, because it follows the mongoose database. Then we have to use const variable name is equal to new mongoose.schema. Okay, mongoose.schema is the function to creating one schema parameter. Then in this we are creating one variable, that is name. Okay, in the name you are declaring which type of particular field is available. We are writing string, required true. Okay, so you have to enter this data. Okay, it might be sometimes you are telling that required is false. Okay, it is not available. Okay, second is surname, so type is string and required is true. Okay, so this is a very simple format to create a schema in our JSON format. It is a very simple. You have to just give variable name, okay, colon, then bracket. Okay, if you are using a single variable for testing purpose, you can also give the single variable type required and another functions which will be later part you will be use. Okay, so this is the format. How can we create a schema here? Okay. Now last, what happened? If I want to use this schema, okay, if I want to use this schema in the different directory, okay, so we have to import this particular users.js in different directory, that is my app.js or any other else. So for that, just we have to create one module here. Okay, without that creating a module, we cannot import that in the other or SAM directory. Okay, so that's why we are creating one model, mongoose.model. Yes, what is the name of this whole model? The name is users, and this is our user schema. So you have to define user schema. So whenever I am using this schema in the different directory, then we have to fetch using users. Okay, so for that, module.exports is equal to mongoose.model. Users is my name and user schema. So I think till now you are clear. Okay, what is the basic steps to connect? Okay, and how can we create a schema? Now we are moving to a routing part. Okay, so for that we are created one directory name is roots. Yes, here I'm also created one JS file, that is users.js file. Okay, so users.js file I am created in the model portion also. Okay, but it is one directory is model. Here users.js is available with roots. Okay, so don't confuse with the name. Okay, so first what we are creating here, we are just telling that whatever the request is performed by the user, that request is following this route strictly. Okay, so whatever the REST API is working here, okay, that will be get, post, put, delete, okay, anything. But when the user is requested, at that time some path is there. Okay, for that this route is mandatory followed. For that we are creating our this root portion. Okay, so first portion we are just importing express. Yes, and the compulsory thing, because we are creating here root, so our package is express.router. Okay, that will be stored here. Okay, now we are using the what the data we are fetching from our particular view, that is available at which particular directory in models users. So in the we are writing dot here because this the users are available in the different directory. Okay, here in the roots we are writing the code in these users. We are fetching the data from the models users.js. That's why it is in the different directory. That's why we are writing /models.user. So here we are storing this data in the user file, the user variable. Okay, now before moving to the actual our REST API, we are just check our code is working or not. For that I am writing root.get. Yes, I am writing the first slash and function request response.send get method from user.js. Okay, this is a tricky code. Okay, I will explain later. In the last we are using module.export router. Why? Because we are using these routes user.js file in our app.js. Okay, that's why we have to export also this file. So whenever you have to use some specific file from one directly to another directory, you have to use model.export. Here my name is router. Okay, let's move our original file app.js. Okay, now it is easy to understand. Okay, so whenever we are running our app.js file, this is our main file. At that time, whatever you are writing the particular data, it follows some roots here. So that's why we are writing here const user router is equal to require, okay, roots, then user. Okay, app.js file and routes both are in the same directory. That's why we can see here, okay, the one level is also available. That's why we are using required dot slash routes user. Okay, it is valid. Okay, then here we are use app dot use which path slash user path. So whenever I want to run my code, okay, if I'm not writing slash, it is compulsory use which path users. Okay, so I have to compulsory use user path. Okay, and that is be followed by our user router. Okay, so this is the use of our user router here. So till now we are understanding that how our particular app.js is working, how can we create schema, and how we are writing our particular routes file. Till now only thing is remaining our CRUD operation. So simply we have to write our HTTP methods to fetch the data from the schema. But before that, if we want to test our program, let's go to the terminal. Yes, you can see I'm in my directory CRUD demo. I'm writing node moon. Yeah, you have to install node moon if you are not implementing in this directory. You know how to install node globally. Node moon app.js. Okay, so yes, it's running. Server connected, connection is successfully established. Okay, if you are not writing this, okay, if you are not writing this, then some warnings are generated. Okay, you can see here. So I'm removing this for temporarily. Okay, Control X, Control S. Okay, restarting myself. Yes, you can see here. Okay, user new parser true required. Okay, it's a warning only, deprecation warning. Okay, so that's why we are writing this things. Okay, oh, there is error to paste. Okay, yeah, server is connected. So I'm testing this in my Postman. Okay, so just I'm open my Postman. Okay, so here I have to choose get yes localhost :300 and I have to write users and I'm entered. Okay, yes, get method from the user.js. We can go here. You can see our user.js file. Okay, you can see whatever we write here. Yes, in the router.get in the slash we are writing the function that response.send is get method from user.js. So yes, our code is working now. Okay, so now I'm explaining the basics REST API, how it is working. So for the REST API, you have to understand how the user request is working from server to client. So for that, get method, post method, put method, delete method, or we can say instead of put, we can use fetch method. So in the next video, we will understand how exactly REST API is working in our CRUD operation. So till then, take care. Thank you for watching.